Hey everyone, this is Justin. I just wanted to come on before we start this episode and let you know that the second story that Patrick will be reading mentions the topic of suicide. So if that is something that you do not want to listen to, feel free to skip the second story in this episode. And if you or someone you know are struggling with suicide, please contact the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 988.
I actually once got wrongfully arrested because a girl that had my same birth date, same last name, different first name, had warrants. And I'm on my way to the police station. I'm like, I promise you I've never, everything. And they said, May 12th, 1987, last name Hall. Yes, first name Ashley. And I was like, nope, that's not my name. That's not my name. They did a U-turn and dropped me back off at my car.
What do you do when you come out as LGBTQ and love the outdoors? What do you do when you see the outdoor space ruled by older white cis men and desire a diverse community of outdoor lovers? Accept it, change it, create it. I am Justin Yoder, and this is LGBT Outdoors. Happy Pride Month, everyone. I hope your Pride Month has been going amazing. I know here at LGBT Outdoors, we have been running our heads off and in a good way. But we're excited to be wrapping up the last podcast for Pride Month. And I am joined with Patrick Thompson.
What's up?
And Mallory Hall.
Hello.
It's Mallory.
Hi, guys.
It's Mallory. And everybody's like, who is Mallory? We're so glad that you're joining us to co-host today. It's going to be awesome. But we want to dive in and first learn a little bit about who you are and why you're here. I will start off by saying that Mallory has been a part of LGBT Outdoors pretty much since we started. Pretty dang close, at least.
Yeah.
She's thinking about it.
Yeah.
I think so. And she serves on our board and does amazing things for us and cooks lots of incredible food for LGBT Outdoor Fest.
Also known as Chef Mallory.
Chef Mallory.
Chef Mallory.
We need a hashtag for that.
Mm-hmm.
And she does a lot of incredible stuff for LGBT Outdoors and helps us be a successful organization. So thank you for all you do for us.
Yep.
Absolutely. I'm so happy to. I'm just proud to be a part of it. So thank you guys.
Absolutely. Do you want to share with our listeners a little bit about who you are?
Well, hello, guys. I'm Mallory. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I've known Justin and Patrick for a few years now. We met over our love of animals, dogs specifically. Yes, definitely all the puppers.
Puppers.
I own a dog walking company in Dallas. And I also run my mother's coffee shop, Opening Bell Coffee. And City Sniffers dog walking. So I am a busy gal and love to get outside when possible, and LGBT Outdoors makes it happen. So thank you guys.
That's awesome. Yeah, it sounds like a very busy life, but a good life.
Yes, I enjoy it thoroughly.
That's awesome. When it comes to outdoor stuff, what are some of the activities that you like doing outdoors?
So something that's really funny, I'll just give you a little backstory, is I was not outdoorsy growing up whatsoever. Grew up in suburbia with a mom and a sister who would rather go shopping than step foot outdoors. And I have actually found my outdoor journey through LGBT Outdoors, which is super cool. My favorite things that I've done so far would definitely be fly fishing in Colorado with Justin Bubnick, who is an amazing instructor, and archery. Thank you for the archery classes.
That's awesome.
Nice. That's awesome. That is fun. Well, like I opened up with, it is coming up on the end of Pride Month, but it's been a great one.
Yeah.
Patrick, what's some of the highlights that you feel like we should mention? Because we have been.
There's so many things.
We have been so busy and so many good things.
Happy Pride.
Woo woo. We were out at Dallas Pride a couple weeks ago. It was absolutely nuts. Like thousands and thousands of people were there celebrating love and authenticity. And we had our LGBT Outdoors booth there with Dallas Ambassador Joel and incoming Dallas Ambassador David, who are both amazing. And we stood there on our feet all day long, talking with people, handing out stickers, getting people signed up for our email so that they can come out and join our local chapter events here in the North Texas area. We had a happy hour. We were the beneficiary of a drag bingo event at the brand new Hamburger Mary's location in Dallas, which was a blast. It was so much fun. If you're in Dallas, absolutely go check it out. It's a great time. We were down in San Antonio. We were partnering with Columbia Sportswear. They invited us down. They donated 10% of their weekend sales to LGBT Outdoors. We got to go and talk with management there. We got to talk to the crew of the store and customers as well. And it was just a really, really great time. We got people signed up for the San Antonio event, or San Antonio chapter, rather, led by our LGBT Outdoors ambassador, Otis, who is also awesome. And then we turned that into a tubing trip, and our Baton Rouge ambassador was also there in San Antonio. So Justin and I and Brody all went tubing down the Kamal River for a few hours and got in the water and sun, and great time. And Mallory was doing an event last weekend at the Dallas Arboretum. Our New Hampshire chapter, who are absolutely crushing it, they're doing like 4, 5.
Yeah. On this Saturday will be their third Pride event this month. And I think they have one more before the end of the month and a couple more before the end of the year.
Like it's wild. Like there's so much outreach going on, trying to get the LGBTQ plus community connected to the outdoors, but also learning how to sort of receive the love and support that we're getting from some companies like Superfeet, who makes this an epic collection of insoles. Which insoles aren't really sexy to talk about, like, let's be real. But when you're a hiker and you're hiking, 5, 10, 15, 27,000 miles, like a good set of insoles is really at the top of your list, maybe underwater.
They are. And to go along with that, there's a way that people can get a free pair of insoles from them.
No.
Yes.
How?
Yes.
So basically what they're doing is running a photo contest and partnering with us. So for the month of Pride, Superfeet is donating $5,000 to LGBT Outdoors,
Woo-hoo.
which is amazing.
Yay.
And then I'd highly recommend going over to Instagram and following them at just Superfeet. But they have a photo contest going on where you post a photo of you doing your outdoor activities, running, biking, hiking, or whatever it is that you're doing. Tag them with the hashtag Superfeet. No, not Superfeet. Superfeet Pride Contest. Again, it's hashtag Superfeet Pride Contest. And they're going to choose 10 winners to get a free pair of insoles. And these aren't cheap insoles either. They are high quality, amazing insoles. So
and worth it.
Definitely worth it. Yeah, absolutely. They're quality insoles. So try to win a pair. And if you don't, go buy a pair. And you're also helping support us by doing it. So that's awesome. Also, I just lost the date.
July
12th? July 12th. We're going to be at Patagonia, Dallas. And we're going to be there. We're going to have a booth. We're going to be sharing about LGBT Outdoors and what we're doing and kind of working on a little partnership with them. So if you want to come to that, hit us up. We're going to have the information on our website under the events, local chapter events as well. We'll set it up there so you can find out all the details and exact times. But our website is lgbtoutdoors.com, then events, local chapter events. And that'll be up very soon as well so that you can get all the details. Yeah. Ooh. Oh, and I'm about ready. As soon as we are done recording this, I'm hitting the road for Baton Rouge Pride as well, because I'm crazy like that. So by the time everybody will be listening to this, that will be over. And I'm going to say it was a huge success, right?
Yes. Put that out there. Speak it into existence.
We're going to look back at the photos from it. We want to see those photos.
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll make a reel from it. It'll be a good time.
So lots going on, and it's been a wildly successful and fantastic month, celebrating Pride, just like in general. I feel like Pride Month has been sort of a bigger presence this month. Would y'all agree? Just in general, social media, companies, celebrations. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, we've had so many anti-LGBTQ laws coming into place this year alone. Like, I just feel like people really wanted to get out there and let their pride shine and let everyone know we're not going to be erased. We're here to stay, and we're going to fight for our equal rights. And so, yeah, I feel like there was a lot more energy behind the Pride events this year. It was fantastic.
I agree.
I've seen a lot of Pride just out and going places and whatnot as well. So different stores and different companies really showing it in brick and mortar. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Gotta love that. Well, this episode is going to be one of our Campfire Conversations episodes, which I'm excited about. If you haven't listened to one of our Campfire Conversation episodes yet, they are where listeners will email us at info@lgbtoutdoors.com. Stories that have happened to them in the outdoors. These can be funny stories. They can be scary stories. They can be intense. They could be spotting Bigfoot or just whatever it might be, getting abducted by aliens.
Does Bigfoot celebrate Pride?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, you think?
If anybody spots a rainbow Bigfoot, please send us a photo.
Yes.
Yes. We'll give you a free t-shirt, and it can't be photoshopped.
Yes.
Deal.
But if anybody has a story that you would like us to share, email it to us again at info@lgbtoutdoors.com. We would love to be able to share your stories and be able to have some fun. So are we ready to dive in? I think, Mallory, you have a nice little one that you're going to start off with.
Yes. All right. Well, this is from Ambassador Brody from Baton Rouge. All right. Here's his story. Years ago, a group of friends and I planned a weekend camping trip at a large primitive group campsite. A friend of a friend heard about the trip and asked if he and his boyfriend could join us. The more the merrier, so why not, right? The newcomers were eager to impress us, so they offered to bring a propane burner and cook a large meal for the whole campsite. We arrived around midday on Friday and began setting up. The new guy set up his burner and started heating the pot. He quickly realized that the propane tank wasn't full and had to make a run to the convenience store about 30 minutes away. The worst.
I hate that.
30 minutes away.
Especially when you're the new guy. You're the new guy and you come and then you try to cook this great meal and it's like, oh, crap. Yeah, I might need some propane for this.
Oh, yeah. One of our friends was familiar with the area and offered to ride with him for directions since we didn't have cell service. They drove away in the new guy's truck with a short list of other last-minute groceries and supplies that we had forgotten. The boyfriend of the new guy decided to stay at the campsite and finish setting up camp and swim in the lake. I mean, I would have chosen to swim in the lake as well.
Same.
Definitely.
About an hour and a half later, the truck returns to the campsite, but our friend hops out of the driver's seat alone with a panic look on his face. Side note, the convenience store was located in a very small town that was infamous for relying heavily on revenues generated from driving citations. Okay. Our panicked friend explains that during the grocery run, the guy was pulled over for having illegal window tint. After the police ran a background check on the new guy, they detained him for having warrants. I won't go into detail on that. The worst.
Wait, the worst? Do you have experience with this, Mallory?
I do not personally.
Oh, okay. I was like, maybe there's another story we need to hear here too.
I actually once got wrongfully arrested because a girl that had my same birth date, same last name, different first name, had warrants. And I'm on my way to the police station. I'm like, I promise you, I've never everything. And it turns out, as I said, like they said, May 12th, 1987, last name Hall. Yes, first name Ashley. And I was like, nope, that's not my name. That's not my name. They did a U-turn and dropped me back off at my car.
Wow. So you were actually in the police car going to the police station.
Oh, yeah. Sobbing
in
like
handcuffs?
a little girl in handcuffs.
Wow.
Yeah.
How have I never heard this story?
I don't know.
Oh
I think the coolest part about it is I actually met this person a month later, or a month or so later in person, not knowing it was her.
Oh.
And then we figured it out. Like, what are the odds of that?
Hey, Ashley, just a heads up, you might want to get your warrants taken care of. I'm an innocent bystander who got arrested on your behalf. Oh. Did the police at least apologize?
Unfortunately, they did not. It was a negative situation. Now is a funny, but at that day I was like late for work and all the things, and just was
wow.
Yeah, I was like, I don't have any tickets, anything.
That's crazy.
I was just impressed that I met her in life. So like, what? So
without
cool.
punching her.
Yeah,
like.
Yeah, we're still Facebook friends. Yeah.
Of course. That's like peak Mallory right there.
100%. Only happens to you. She apologized for running that stop sign and getting a warrant.
The least she could do.
Right? Okay, so sorry, Brody. We're getting back to your story. So without cell service, the only way for the new guy's boyfriend to find out what was going on was to drive to the police station. Hours go by and the boyfriend returns alone to tell the story. New guy had warrants in a different parish or county, and it was too late to transport him, so he would have to spend the night in holding to transfer him to the parish from which his warrants were issued, and his bail couldn't be negotiated until the judge could review the case on Monday. It's a different kind of camping trip he was having.
I was going to say, that adds a wrench into the camping trip for sure.
I'm guessing the campers had better food. I wonder if they ever got the propane.
Wait,
did they get the propane?
He was the one cooking.
Yeah. Oh, no. There was nothing the boyfriend could do, so he spent the remainder of the camping trip with us. We heard that the couple ended up breaking up shortly after the trip, and neither of them has asked to come on any subsequent camping trips.
I would think not. Could you imagine? Oh, yeah, I invited myself and my boyfriend to come on a camping trip with you. My boyfriend gets arrested, and then I'm going to invite myself on another trip in the future?
No.
Maybe not.
Out on that.
What do we need to do? Start doing like background checks on people that want to go camping with us?
Just make sure
basically
your window tint isn't too much.
Well,
I guess.
It sounds like this was in Louisiana. Like in Texas, lots of small towns are very, very legally aware, I guess, because they do unofficially rely on that tickets and fines income for their city. Like I get it. Which is why you never, ever, ever speed through small towns in Texas. If the speed limit is 35, you go 34 because they're After
or you're just Patrick and you go 34 anyways when it's 35.
Well, no comment.
Well, my next camping trip, I'm just gonna have my checklist. It's like, okay, tent, got it. Low tinted windows, got it.
Full propane.
Yeah, full propane. Okay.
Clean criminal record. All right.
Lower your own speed dial.
Paid tickets, got it. Okay.
Well, that's fun. So Brody's got a great group going on over in Louisiana in Baton Rouge. So if you're in Baton Rouge or the area, like find out about what events he has going on because they're fun. Funny enough, my story, which I'm going to
do after mine.
You going mine. Then I'm going to do after yours. Is also an ambassador, and yours is also an ambassador. Yep. It's an ambassador story day. This is awesome. Okay,
I love ambassador stories. So this story is from our New Hampshire ambassador, Shuri. It's definitely a bit heavier than Brody's story, but it's really great. So I'm very grateful for Shuri for everything she does for LGBT Outdoors because she's killing it. And also she is the current reigning LGBT Outdoors podcast trivia guru. She's won both episode 1 and episode 2. And we will see how well she does on episode 3 to defend her title. But this also took a lot of guts and bravery to share this story. So thank you, Shuri, for your willingness to share all this. So it's a long read, so stick with me. She says, "You're all aware that I'm trans, a bit of baby trans, in fact. I started getting involved with LGBT Outdoors when I was barely out of the gate. I think JC is the only one of you who had the honor of a video chat with me while I was still mostly male presenting and using they, them pronouns. If I recall, the New Hampshire chapter went live at almost the exact same time that my name and gender were legally changed a few months after that. I remember the quote unquote fun scramble getting the website and Facebook group images updated with the new pictures, name, and pronouns as everything was just coming together. This story is about how I got to that point. I've been dealing with gender dysphoria most of my life without accepting or recognizing it for what it was. Other people did in glimpses, but it never hit me. I remember being 19 and a girlfriend I'd had at the time telling me I'd have made a better girl than a guy, or my gay friend Chad telling me at 20, "You do realize you're queer, right?" Me? No way. I wasn't attracted to men. I just had a few feminine personalities. # there were no signs. By early 2020, then in my 40s, I was exceptionally overweight, north of 300 pounds. I was both disgusted and apathetic toward myself. It's hard to find pictures of me from those days. They're few and far between. The few I do have, it blows my mind even now just how large I was. I had thought at the time that my self-loathing had all to do with my weight. The pandemic brought about closures of restaurants and movie theaters and all the other fun, fattening things I had been into it at that point. The only way to get out of the house that spring was to do something outside. I remember that Mother's Day, my family and I decided to take a hike up to, I can't pronounce this, Arethusa Falls, Arethusa Falls, a pretty popular hike up in the White Mountains. I'd last done it in my late teens, and I didn't recall it being too difficult. But that day, I thought I was going to die. There's still snow up there in early May, and being novice hikers, we were undergeared, and I was extremely out of shape. I could barely walk by the time we got back to the car, and we had gone less than 3 miles, climbed less than 800 feet, and I could barely walk for 2 days after. And that was one of 2 low points in this story. And when I decided that I needed to start doing something, or maybe I wouldn't be around much longer, I made a lot of excuses that summer. It was hot. There's too many bugs. But by the fall, I'd finally gotten off my butt and started with some easy walks. Flat stuff, only a couple miles, and then went to 3 and 4 and 5 over a couple months. The All Trails app was really helpful in locating trails that would fit my abilities and maybe have something interesting to see on the way. When I felt like I was able to do 5 flat miles and still feel good about it, I shortened the hike to 3 miles and started adding elevation, 400, 600, 800 feet, and gradually worked up both elevation and miles. Unlike previous attempts to lose weight, I was actually having fun out hiking, often with my family. I did my best to get out and do something every weekend and purchased a Peloton bike to get some movement in on the weekdays. The following May, I was able to summit my first of the New Hampshire 48, which is 48 mountains in New Hampshire, which are over 4,000 feet. Here's another one. Mount Moosilauke, Moosilauke. It was amazing. The average tree line in New Hampshire is about 4,400 feet, and we were above it for the first time. It was May 28th, and we got caught in a brief snowstorm at the summit. It was cold too, maybe 25 degrees Fahrenheit without the wind chill. When the clouds broke, the view was incredible. That hike was a little over 8 miles and 2,500 feet of climbing to get to the 4,800-foot summit. I was a little stiff the next day, but had no trouble walking. How far I'd come. I'd lost 30 pounds at that point. July 11th, my daughter and I attempted the hardest hike we've ever done to date. Down 40 pounds, we climbed almost 3,900 feet over 9 miles and tagged 2 summits over 5,000 feet in the process. Franconia Ridge is the most beautiful place I've ever been in person. Nearly 2 miles of the hike are ridgeline up above anything else for dozens of miles on a midsummer day that barely reached 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Perfect. That November, a year and a half after the first horrible hike up Arethusa Falls, my kids and I went back for a second round, but this time we took a different trail that was twice as long and more than double the elevation gain to get some cliff views on the way. I had no trouble walking back to the car or getting around the following day. I'd come a long way, was down 60 pounds, and felt like I should have felt better about myself, but I didn't. It was the following January 2022 when my egg finally cracked. That's the term trans people use for the moment when we finally realize and accept the fact that we're trans. I learned that day that cisgender people hardly ever question their gender, if at all. It was something I'd done almost every day of my life. It was something I thought everyone dealt with. Turns out that no, that was just something trans people get to feel. Everything fell into place. My quirkiness as a kid and in college, the constant feeling of wrongness and depression when I saw a picture of myself or caught a glimpse in a mirror. My previous birthday when I'd wished maybe for the 30th time while blowing out my candles that I didn't have to be a guy anymore. I'm not so sure what was so special about that birthday, but the wish was finally going to be granted. At first, I was completely freaking out. I'd read and seen enough to know that life for a trans person can be incredibly difficult. I had tons of internalized transphobia, which is transphobia directed at oneself, not necessarily other trans people. I thought for sure that if I transitioned, I would get a front row seat to watching my life burn down around me. I imagined my friends and family abandoning me to disgust. I imagined my marriage crumbling and my wife being incensed that I'd kept this from her for so long, while really I'd kept it from even myself. I envisioned losing my job or my customer base no longer being willing to work with me. I imagined being seen as, quote, a dude in a dress, being harassed and ridiculed for the rest of my life. I told my wife 3 days after I'd figured it out myself. I was in a bad headspace and she had seen it. A couple weeks later, the first week of February, I planned to go on a winter hike solo. My wife insisted I take our daughter along. She wasn't crazy about it, but my wife had said something to convince her she should go. Legitimately, that's the thing that saved my life that day. The hike itself wasn't difficult, just a 3-mile loop to a mountain lake and about 1,000 feet of elevation in the snow. It was exceptionally cold, though. Once we were at the lake, it was about minus 10 degrees Fahrenheit with the wind chill. About 2 miles in, we were coming around the far side of the lake through what would be a swampy section in the summer. There was a lot of narrow bridges and boardwalks in that section, but not many people had been up there recently, and with the wind blowing everything around, the trail was hard to follow. I should have recognized the depression in the snow for what it was, but I didn't, and my daughter and I ended up crashing through some thin ice and snow up to our hips in icy water. There was no getting out the other side, so we had to wade back the way we came. And it wasn't fun trying to climb back out of the pool where our tracks had led into it. We had full snow gear on, but it's not waterproof if you actually fall in water. Our boots were filled, our base layers were soaked, and it was enough water that some had seeped into the insulation of our snow pants, and it was -10. Had my daughter not been there, that would have been it for me. All I could think of crawling out of the water was how it was cold enough and how easy it would be to just lie down and let go of everything. Causing violence to myself isn't something I'm capable of, but giving up there and then I was more than capable of. But my daughter was there, and I had to get her out. There wasn't any debate about that. Suicide is viewed as an incredibly selfish act and not one I could have dragged anyone into with me. So we got to our feet, turned around, and made some of our best mile times getting back down the mountainside the way we'd come. Our pants froze solid within a few minutes, banging against our legs like bells, but kept us warm enough that our base layers never got more than uncomfortably cold. We reminded each other to wiggle our toes and keep our feet active. The outsides of our boots froze, but inside they were cold and squishy. We stopped twice to break ice that accumulated around our micro spikes, but aside from that, we practically flew, trying to keep moving and generating as much heat as we could. We got back to the car, cranked up the heat, stripped down to our base layer for the ride home. That was the second and lowest point of this story. My daughter had no idea her presence saved my life that day, and I doubt she will until she's much older. She still tells the story with a laugh. It was some good type 2 fun for her, and she never really felt like we were in serious danger. It certainly could have been a lot worse. It was shortly after that where it was plain to both my wife and myself that I was either going to need to transition or I wasn't likely to live very long. And so we began getting things in order so that I could transition. I'm happy to say that almost nothing I have been afraid of came to pass. My wife and I did get divorced last October, right after my social and legal transition were completed, but we still live together and function as a family with 2 moms. She was too straight to continue the marriage, and I ended up a complete asexual phase for several months, thanks to some side effects from HRT. It worked out well for us, and our transition back to friends has been a smooth one. I started dating about a month ago, and it turns out Chad was right all those years. I am kind of gay, but just not the way he would have thought at the time. As to the rest, I lost nothing else. My transition has gone exceptionally well. Existing customers at work have found it easy to accept this better version of myself, and most of the new ones don't even know I'm trans. I didn't lose any family or close friends, and in fact, I've made quite a few new ones and found community in the process. I still get out almost every weekend. Throughout my transition, getting outside has been one place of solace, regardless of what stage I've been in. Nature doesn't care what your gender is. She doesn't go any easier on women than men. Anyone who doesn't respect her is dealt with equally harsh, and that was the one place the whole time where my gender absolutely didn't matter. I'm in a really good place now, thriving where I was barely surviving before. I spend time volunteering at a support group facilitator for our local PFLAG chapter and the stuff I do as an ambassador for LGBT Outdoors. Being there and sharing joy with other people in the LGBTQ plus community is something that brings me a lot of joy. It's been especially amazing watching our outdoor groups grow and flourish these past few months. A lot of us have made some great new friends and shared some special memories of our adventures. Life is made up of a series of moments. I've had a lot of really positive ones over this last year, and I'm really glad I wasn't able to take that early exit, or I'd have missed them. Shuri, thank you so much for sharing that. Wow.
That's a powerful story. And I know we weren't talking or commenting too much during it because we were so engaged and just taking it all in. But I think that what she shared and what she has gone through, so many people go through. And it makes me wonder, like, how many people go through it and don't make it out to find the community and the support that they need that she was able to. So I am so thankful that she was able to accept who she was, find the change, keep the family, friends, keep the job, and even have more friends and more community now than she did before. And I hope that if there's anybody listening that is going through this, something similar, that you have the strength and the courage to be able to go on, because it does get better no matter what your journey is. I feel it will get better. So thank you, Shuri. Yeah,
absolutely.
That was an awesome story.
Oh, my favorite line in that was towards the end where she said, this better version of myself. Like to feel that from her, that she feels that in herself, just really just made me proud of her.
Yes.
It's that. And this definitely ties in with Pride Month, and why I'm so grateful for Shuri sharing this story is, to your point, Justin, like, I think a lot of people suffer in silence because it's easier to hide and disappear. And Shuri being brave enough to, because this is like a deeply personal experience to go through. That's very dramatic and traumatic potentially. And to share this so that she becomes more visible, so that other people can see this as a story of hope, because it can get better. It does get better. And visibility is so incredibly important. And sharing your stories, which is why we do, or part of why we do Campfire Conversations in general. Like there are humans who are experiencing the human condition, and if you identify, I want to let you know that like you're going to be okay. And there's hope and visibility. So thank you again, Shuri.
Yeah, that's amazing. Just a side note with that, Shuri and Diana, 2 ambassadors in New Hampshire, they are killing it up there. Like, I am just blown away by the community that they've been creating with the New Hampshire local chapters. So if you're up there, check it out.
Oh, all right. Hang on. I want to rewind just a little bit. Shuri did mention that she's a support group facilitator for their local PFLAG chapter. On a personal note, I love PFLAG so deeply, and I'm going to try and tell the story really, really quick. It's not outdoorsy, but it is important. I was coming out many years ago. My parents had a hard time with it, to put it nicely. Struggling and counseling and therapy and all this stuff for several months. They ended up finding their way to a PFLAG meeting in Houston. PFLAG stands for Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays. And to my knowledge, I don't think they said anything, but at that meeting, and they told me this when they came home, they said that there was a woman there who was about 40 years old, who was just sobbing like uncontrollably because her parents would not accept her. And I don't know what words she used, but whatever she said was exactly what my parents needed to hear, because that it wasn't an overnight, like, yay, pride and rainbows and all that stuff. But that was the moment where they decided that they're going to seek to be okay with me. And like, it's a very like definitive before and after moment that was found inside a PFLAG meeting. So PFLAG, if you're out there, if you're listening, we love you. Keep it up. Your work is so, so, so important and valuable. Thank you. Sorry, I'm getting a little.
No, I love that.
Yay. Okay.
That's awesome. Winnebago Industries is a leading U.S. manufacturer of outdoor lifestyle products. Their goal is to help their customer from glamping enthusiasts to off-road explorers embrace the outdoors through one of their recreational vehicles, powerboats, or pontoons. Winnebago Industries is proud to partner with leading industry and outdoor-oriented organizations such as us, LGBT Outdoors, who share in their desire to enable extraordinary mobile experiences for everyone. Together, we can all be great outdoors. All right, I'm going to go with my story. Are you ready for it?
Yes.
Okay. This one comes from Lucas Woodruff, who is one of our New Mexico ambassadors. By the way, we're going to tag all of these, the people who wrote these stories in the show notes. So if you want to check these people out and follow them, just look in the show notes. All right. He actually titled this one, Lions, Tigers, and Bear Spray. Oh my.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yep. So here we go. Hi, my name is Lucas Woodruff. For those of you that don't know me, all right, wait, I got to put a pin in there for just a second. So for those of you that don't know me, I was a wedding photographer before doing LGBT Outdoors for like 12, 13 years. Still shoot a little bit. And every time a groomsman gets up to do the toast, 99.99% of the time, it starts off. For those of you that don't know me, so I had flashbacks to toast at wedding whenever I hear that. Back to Lucas's story. For those of you that don't know me, and know the show Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I am described as Charlie, aka Wild Card. Bear with me while I give a brief background before jumping into this story. I hit midlife crisis in my 20s. Lucas, come on. 20s.
You don't even know.
We need to check in on him and see how he's doing. I think he's in his, I don't know how old he is now, but I wonder how his 30s are going, or 40s, wherever he's at now. Hopefully he didn't have any more crises and I got it all out in his 20s. But anyways, he hit his midlife crisis in his 20s. I had just graduated with my master's degree in HR. I was engaged and I lost 40 pounds of pure fluffiness. I was ready to go into a new career and pivot. I applied to hundreds of jobs. I was offered an entry-level position in HR in Jackson Hole, Wyoming at Vail Resorts. Yes,
nice.
Please.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Little did I know it would be one of the best summers of my life. Okay, it's April 2015. I drove from my home in Pittsburgh, Kansas to Jackson Lake Lodge, Wyoming. 18 hours of driving. I had never been to Wyoming and I didn't know a soul. Talk about a culture shock. As I crossed into Bridger Tetons National Forest, I quickly realized I was no longer in Kansas, pun intended. 7 feet of snow piled up on both sides of the highway. The lodge was all boarded up. It looked like the restaurant from the Goonies. No joke. Wow. I settled into employment housing. I walked through this massive, majestic lodge with some of the best views I've ever seen. Floor-to-ceiling windows with complete views of Jackson Lake and the Tetons. What did I sign up for? As you can imagine, living in one of the most active parks in the country in terms of wildlife comes with some challenges. With 5 properties and over 1,000 seasonal workers, it is my job to lead onboarding and work with the National Park Service to ensure that everyone is ready to work and live in the national park. Quick question. Do you know how to use bear spray? Most people. This is another question I have for Lucas. Lucas, we need a chat after this. Because most people? Lucas is saying most people think that bear spray is a repellent, like off mosquito spray.
No.
Oh, no.
That couldn't be further from the truth. Part of the onboarding included talking about how to use it effectively. My employees were good to go. However, tourists will continue to be tourists. Mm-hmm. This one family showed up ready to see America. They were all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. They were new to the outdoors. The dad had decided to get some bear spray for his family. do I need to go any further with this story? Yes. Yes, I do. All right, honey, grab the kids. Before we go hiking, we should put our bear spray on.
Oh, no.
It wasn't 2 seconds after the husband started spraying his family with bear spray that everyone started screaming for their lives. Eventually, the fumes made their way to the husband. An ambulance came to assist, and they were all taken to the hospital. They all lived, but I wonder if that man and his family are still together. The moral of the story: learn how to use bear spray.
Oh, man.
As funny as that is, it's not funny, but it's funny. Oh,
I mean,
man.
it's funny. Not if you spray yourself. Holy moly.
No. I think that this is a good story and one that I really wanted to share because July is National Parks Month, if you don't know. So a lot of people are going to be getting out there, hopefully, and checking out the national parks and doing hikes and all this fun things where there could be bears. Know how to use bear spray and do not spray yourself. You spray the bear, not you with it.
It's an emergency device, not a preventative one.
Yeah. We talked about this on a podcast before too, but just another tip with bears. We obviously have, I say obviously, we have 2 types of bears here in the States. We have the black bear and the brown bear, grizzlies. If you are attacked by a grizzly, that's when you play dead. If you're attacked by a black bear, you fight back. There's a rhyme that goes with that, but I forget what it is right now.
I don't remember, but if you want to go back and listen to episode 1 of the LGBT Outdoors podcast, where you talk with Dylan Sanborn, who is an expert nature
wildlife biologist in Yellowstone.
Thank you. I was trying to remember his title and I couldn't. But it does have all the hot tips for ideally avoiding bear encounters and how to deal with them if you happen to see them in the woods and their picnic baskets and stuff.
Everybody needs a refresher because I listened to this episode and I remember thinking to myself, okay, fight back, play dead. In the moment, need to remember which one to do.
Yeah. Well, one thing that could, like bear attacks are far and few between, but knowing what type of bears are in the area that you're in helps to begin with. So it's just good to know what wildlife is around. Yeah.
Thank you, Lucas.
Yeah, thanks, Lucas.
Have you guys seen any bears while you've been out on your adventures? Have you guys seen any bears? Yeah.
We've seen black bears. I saw black bears long time ago, Great Smoky Mountains in Tennessee. The most recent one was in Montana when Patrick and I were up there. We saw a black bear. And I think Patrick was, it kind of popped out pretty close to us. And so I started like making ourselves known. It was like, hey, bear. And Patrick was like, afterwards, I think he was asking me like, why were you talking to the bear? Why were you like, saying hey to the bear? I was like, I want the bear to know we are here, not to come any closer. We're all good.
We started complimenting him on his new summer shiny coat. Not really.
I mean, I was just like, hold on, what kind of bear are we talking about here?
That's it was a black bear. All the ones I've ever seen were black bears. I've never seen a grizzly or brown bear, unfortunately, but I would love to. You saw bears in California?
Yeah. Sarah, Bennett, and I went camping at Sequoia National Park, and we saw a baby black bear the next morning, like on our very first hike, like right then. Or no, we were driving by to go, and yeah, I was like, okay, baby bear. Okay, great. Like already a success. Yeah. We just got here.
Like that's a really weird moment because it's like, oh, it's so cute. But also, okay, where's mom?
Where's mom?
She's got to be around here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm kind of like getting all like misty eyed. Oh, this cute little creature. And then like something sneaking up behind me, breathing down my neck. Like, It's a really weird life feeling.
Yeah. We did not get out of the Subaru.
Yeah.
Smart. Yes. Mallory, do you have a little bonus one for us?
I do.
A bonus story.
Yes. I mean, everybody loves a good bonus story.
Sweet.
Right?
Okay, so this is from listener Addie or 80. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. All right, I'm jumping into it. Once during my first year at uni, I recall waking up and feeling something unsettling sitting on my tummy. I froze and I couldn't move. I was petrified and thought some kind of gecko or weird creature had crawled onto me. But I was also bursting to go to the toilet. So I waited a little and waited and waited. I couldn't bring myself to move my body or look down. After a lot of courage, I shifted my body slightly to see if I'd get some kind of reaction. To my horror, this thing also shifted onto my tummy, and I physically felt it move. I was scared like you wouldn't believe. After waiting and further waiting, I thought, how strange. It's not moving at all. I eventually looked down, and to my shock, saw the cord of my pajamas just resting on my tummy. Oh, what a relief. And how I laughed at my own experience. A true story.
That's not where I thought that was going.
I feel like almost all of us that go, especially go camping, have those kind of stories. Like, your mind goes places where normally it wouldn't go when you're in a fabric tent out in the woods at night, maybe by yourself.
Yeah, it gives you the heebie-jeebies.
Yep.
Yeah. Patrick especially would be not a fan of a gecko.
No, I mean, if I knew it's a gecko, but it's the crawling around, lizards don't really freak me out. He's looking at me like I'm stating something that's incorrect. It's snakes and spiders in the outdoors that I just really struggle to accept their coexistence.
We have had gecko a time or two get into our house, and your response was not all that favorable. But I mean, in all fairness, mine would be cockroaches and spiders. Yes. I would rather deal with any snake or anything. Literally, give me a rattlesnake over a cockroach.
But the difficulty in this story, though, is just not knowing. If you know what it is.
And in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
On your stomach, too. It's like, oh, God, that's so intimate.
It's not just in the room. It is on me. This is a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think we have a few things that we can do to wrap up our episode. We have a merch sale going on right now on our website. So if you go to LGBT Outdoors and go to our store for Pride Month, we're doing 10% off if you use code PRIDE23.
And that goes...
I'm saying that question. But yes, that's right. It's capital Pride 23. And you'll get 10% off of anything that you buy during Pride Month, which you've got about a week to do.
Yeah, so that goes through the end of June, right?
End of June. Yep.
There's some
and
cute
we also
stuff on there too.
I know, and we're working on some new ones too. I can't wait. We also have LGBT Outdoor Fest. You all have been hearing quite a bit about that in each episode, but we want to make sure that you know about it if you're a new listener. LGBT Outdoor Fest is going to be September 22nd through the 24th at Rainbow Ranch in Groesbeck, Texas. Mallory, I would love it if you share a little bit about what LGBT Outdoor Fest is and why you like it, because I know you're a fan.
Absolutely. I love it. It is so much fun. Basically, it is a weekend. It's a big gay camp out. And there are instructors that come from all over the U.S. and teach you things like fishing, archery, nature photography. Last year at Rainbow Ranch, too, I don't know if we're doing this one again, is the campfire cooking class. That one was super
was
cool
amazing.
and just super useful. Yeah, like Cindy did such a great job. But it's just full of community. We all eat together because there are two amazing chefs there. You know, Shaw and Mallory like kill it in that kitchen.
Yeah, they
just
do.
throwing that out there.
Absolutely.
And, you know, the campfire conversation's there. But at the end of the day, like after the first one, I was like, okay, this is my tribe of humans. Like we're all into knowledge and community, and it was just an experience I will never forget. So if you haven't been to one, come to one. I would love to meet you. There's some really awesome people there.
Yeah. And this is for if you love the outdoors or you're just curious, like, so don't feel like you have to be an extremely outdoor person to come, but head over to our website, LGBT Outdoors, click on events, and you can go right to LGBT Outdoor Fest. You can check out videos from past ones and see what they're like, but it's going to be a great one. This is going to be one of the best ones each year. I think I say that. This is going to be our fourth one we've done.
Yes.
And it's going to be our best one so far. Mm-hmm. So love to have you there. All right, everyone. Patrick, Mallory, thank you so much for coming on and helping me with some stories today. They were funny and serious, and they were fantastic.
That was a good time.
And listeners,
thank you for having me.
If you've got us, absolutely. And don't be surprised if Mallory helps us out some more in the future too. Mm-hmm. So, but again, if you have a story for us that you want to share on Campfire Conversations, email it to us at info@lgbtoutdoors.com. We would love to have it. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Happy Pride Month again.
Happy
and
Pride.
Until next time, get out there. Thank you again for joining us this week. If you have a Campfire Conversation story you would like to share, please email it to us at info@lgbtoutdoors.com. Follow us on Instagram at LGBT Outdoors and join the community at facebook.com/groups/LGBT Outdoors. Become a partner by joining our Patreon, where you'll gain access to monthly bonus stories and exclusive content. For more information on today's episode, check out the show notes. For information about LGBT Outdoors, LGBT Outdoor Fest, local chapters, or to sign up for our newsletter, visit lgbtoutdoors.com. And if you're enjoying the show, please rate, review, and follow wherever you listen to podcasts.